is shared. Tamara and Sharon, a duo prepared to light up the path, to bridge every gap. Access meets opportunity, there's no turning back. Forward with fortitude, the future's in sight. Together we rise like stars in the night. Authenticity reigns, love leads the way. We're speaking in harmony every single day. Speak harmony, let your voice intertwine. So let's move forward, ever bold and true. With Sharon and Tamara, the vision breaks through. Speak harmony where hearts align.
This episode of Speak Harmony is brought to you by our sponsors, APAP Media Group. APAP Media Group is a full-service creative video and photo production company specializing in podcasting, multi-camera recording, and live streaming. Contact them at apapmedia.com or by email at info@apapmedia.com. Thank you to our sponsor at APAP Media. We are excited for this show today.
Wow. So, welcome to another edition of Speak Harmony.
I absolutely love, just being here. I missed last week. There was so much things going on in here last week.
Let me tell you.
I could only watch live, and the week before I was away. So now I can say I was in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And it's...
Mr. P?
Listen, it's not to brag. We're going to talk about... We're not fighting. I went to water myself, and it's very important, and this is why we have this guest coming on today about talking about self-care, talking about wellness and the importance of wellness and why we have to take care of ourselves and our body. So I went to Mission Villa, and we were there for 4 days. I was with a group of 6 amazing women, and we were able to just relax, let our hair down, enjoy. I came back with a tan. One of my other guests were talking about my tan.
Saw that.
But vitamin D is very important. And when we talk about wellness and taking care of yourself, our next guest coming up reminds me constantly, as she's in my inbox telling me about wellness and why it's important for us to take care of ourselves, mind, body, and soul. And that's a part of what we are doing here today. Here at APAP Media, we're bringing 2 women, because it's Women's History. And it's important for us to celebrate the women in our life and our upcoming guest.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, and the men will admit to that. Mr. P will tell you in a heartbeat that without the women in his life, that woman, Mrs. Parkins, in his life, there would be no Mr. P. There'll be no Mr. Parkins, right, Patrick? So, honestly, we pay homage to those great women who have set the pace for us, Tammy. Mm-hmm. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters, our friends.
Absolutely.
Great women. And honestly, like you said, and you're right, wellness, health is wealth. Mm-hmm. You cannot put a price on health. You just can't.
Absolutely not.
People are there sitting, laying up in a hospital bed going, my God, I would pay any money to be healthy.
I wish I could.
Yes,
and that's what it is. And those regrets. And we don't want to live with regrets.
No, absolutely not. And so that said, honestly, it's a lifestyle. We have to get in that groove. And, that's why we need people, like you said, like Robin, for the likes of Robin. And other ladies that teach us how to really appreciate self. Appreciate ourselves and love on each other, collaborate, as our song says. Honestly, our music, our theme song says we collaborate, we coincide, we get together, we celebrate each other. And that's what women are about. So Women's Month really is every single month. It should be
Every day.
Every day.
Every single solitary day, we need to
so-
celebrate sisterhood.
Yes.
We need to celebrate women who champion us, champion the cause, women who are pivoting, number one. Our next guest coming on, talking about pivoting and the change that happens when you leave corporate America. But I won't get into everything then.
Yes.
But we
So,
have to make sure.
leave some room.
I know, we have to leave some things.
We're not going to hog your time, Robin. We're going to let you share with us.
We're
going
gonna
to
bring you
let me
up.
tell you, we're going to bring you up. We're going to go ahead and just bring her up, Tammy, because we don't want to waste any time. Because I mean, here it says she's a mental, physical, emotional, and social and spiritual well-being. She offers fitness guidance to providing nutritional coaching. I mean, she empowers women, and Robin's been doing this for a long, long time. You've had the opportunity of having her in your repertoire. You know, Robin, I'm adding you to. You've been added to mine. Just an FYI. So we're not going to waste any time.
Is
We're
a
going to bring you
true
on
friend.
screen.
When I tell you she's a true friend, she is the one who checks on you.
Yes, I
The
love
checks and balance, and she will make sure that you're okay mentally, physically, emotionally, as I said.
Yes.
We met, I think, about 5 years ago, Robin.
It has been at least as long as I've been back in Atlanta. Yes,
Yes.
we're
So
like
I'm
kindred spirits. I love it. We met and automatically we clicked. Good
clicked.
energy.
So we're not going to
Yes.
waste any more time because we want to hear from you, Sister Dear. You tell us what you're all about, what you're made of, because you're like the Spice Island to us. You bring a variety of stuff. Bring it, Miss
Well,
Robin.
well, first of all, I'm just really happy to be here. And whenever I have an opportunity to talk about health and kind of educate and advocate for health, I'm excited to talk about it. So we talk about women. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a sister friend. And I'm all those things. And I'm also a coach. I've been coaching in the corporate environment for probably over 20 years, mostly in the IT field. So this transition to health, while it has been a big part of my life, has been more recently. And I'm currently studying as well. But the more I study, the more information I have, the more information I'm willing to share. And I'm also incorporating it into my life and sharing how you also can do that, right? So what I'm focused on is integrative health. And I don't know if you've heard of that. It's kind of like holistic health,
Right.
but it also includes traditional medicine. So it's both. It's really having options about how you maintain your health. We talk about mental and physical and spiritual. All of those things encompass how we, number one, feel about ourselves and also how our body feels about us, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So, what you do and what you feel translates to your health, what you consume. And I use
Consume.
that word a lot, consumption, because we consume by eating, we consume by hearing, we consume by listening, all of the things, right? And so this opportunity within the past year has really afforded me to focus on where I want to be. And I would ask that of anyone. Where do you want to be? What do you want your health to look like? And
Absolutely.
where are you now? And where's the gap, right? That's kind of how you initially assess how you want your health to be. And so once you decide where you want to be, then it's not about jumping into like major exercise, right? Or
Starting slow.
changing your diet or major dieting or any of that. It is a lifestyle change. So you almost want to be in a place where you're committed to making change,
Absolutely. So when I
right?
see you growing the things that you're growing, and talk about consumption, I know I'm jumping ahead to do it, but when I look at that and talk about growing your garden and being in your backyard and eating what it is that you've grown and providing not only to your body through the food, but being outside with vitamin D. Tell us about the growth of the garden and how important it is for us to be doing that.
So yes, I started an herb garden last year, and now I've kind of moved on to a vegetable garden as well. Um, so a lot of what I learned last year really was the more I tended to my garden, spent time outside. I mean, you're spending it with
Yes.
yourself, right? And you're taking those, and you're outside, and you want to be able to kind of take nature in, right?
Right.
Um, and also the idea of food being able to take it from outside into inside to put it on your table. You know where that food is coming from, right? So in these times, especially, I would say, which is why I've kind of expanded on the garden, is because these things, of course, are becoming very expensive. Number one,
Number one.
but and
Whew.
we could talk about how staying healthy can be expensive, but we could also talk about how we can sustain our health by accommodating like vegetables and herbs and even fruit from outside. I find it to be very peaceful. I like putting my hands in the dirt,
Yes.
and it's kind of like your meditative time, right? So that's part of self care as well, I think. Being out in the sun, you were talking about that earlier. I love the sun. I think it's important. We know that vitamin D comes from the sun, so we're getting our nutrients there. Um, and then believe it or not, it burns calories. So we are actually exercising while we're doing it. And it's something that I enjoy. I encourage people to do what they enjoy. That makes the transition easier, right?
Yep.
I like
Yeah.
that. I really like that, Robin, because you know what? I grew up that way as well. I mean, grew up with gardening as pretty much almost not an option. I mean, I saw it. I mean, my grandmother, my mother, I mean, we all did our little garden or callaloo or greens or whatever it was, but we had bok choy. We had all that stuff. But then, like you said, you know what it is that you're putting in your body. You don't have to question it. It's almost like when I go shopping, I kind of ponder a little bit before I wash. I'm like, okay, if I pull the stuff from my garden, I pretty much can rinse it with some Kangen, some, alkaline water, and I feel safe. I feel better. Or even tap water, which is not good, but when I buy it, Tammy, from the market and stuff like that, I get it and I wash it, and then I cross-question myself. I'm like, do I need to wash it again?
Washed again.
And do I put some salt on it and some vinegar?
Vinegar and
You
some
know what I'm
baking
saying?
soda.
Yes, and all that
Baking
stuff.
soda.
Yeah.
I
You
remember.
know.
And
So you
Yes.
said the key thing, that it's expensive. And I literally
It
just said
is.
that to my husband a year ago. I said to him, well, I've been saying it for years, so he's listening. He's going to be seeing this podcast, so he's going to know that that's a direct message, and I am sending you a message, honey.
Oh,
I love
Lord.
you. But guess what? I need those shadow boxes you promised me because I want to go full throttle. I have seeds that are waiting to be put in that soil. And like you said,
That's
it's
wonderful.
therapeutic. It's just amazing. And then you can share, you can barter, because we spoke about that recently, where when you plant your own stuff, Robin plants greens, you plant potatoes, you plant whatever, herbs. And guess what? I plant tomatoes and I plant whatever else. And so we trade, we barter. You know
Go back
what?
to that. What we
And
did,
that's
our
what we-
grandparents did that.
That is
as a
correct.
very important.
And that's what I'm saying that. So it's saving us money for one. It's getting us back into what we needed to do to begin with, community,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's forcing us to exercise. So it's bringing us back to what the ancestors or our descendants.
Back to basics.
Back to
And I
basics.
know, and I saw your
Yeah.
face light up when I say that, Robin. So expound on that a little bit, because as a wellness coach, I mean, as that person who is in that space, I mean, talk to us a little more about that. I mean, centering and connecting with folks through gardening and through wellness and, all your initiatives that you're about, because Tammy raves about you. I mean, let me tell you, okay, when Tammy gives the endorsement, when she signs off, let me tell you
Oh
what
my.
happens. You got to go. You don't have to research too much, because, I mean, It's solid. I trust her judgment. Okay. And so, yes, dig a little deeper into that.
Right. So when I talk about wellness, so we're all multifaceted, right?
We are.
Um, and so it's not even just about eating and exercising, right? It's what you were talking about. How can we build community? How
Indeed.
can we feel supported? All those things, loved and seen, all those things contribute to the person that we are. And each one of us has our own track of being well or healthy. Everybody is not the same. Integrative wellness, in particular, talks a lot about what they call bio-individuality, right? So
Mm,
everybody responds to things differently. Like
Differently.
you can get,
correct.
yes, you can have the same condition, be given the same quote medication or treatment and
Right.
respond differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is all about really paying attention to our own bodies
Absolutely.
and really being self-aware,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you are your biggest advocate. When you
Mm-hmm.
go to the doctor, they only know as much information as you provide.
Yes.
So, yeah. So part of what I really want to spread the word is we really need to be better at advocating for ourselves,
Mm-hmm. I think that's very
right?
important as you talk about that and talking about the differences. You shared an article the other day about menopause and how we are all impacted and going through menopause and the changes that we have. And some of us are in different lifespan stages of our life. And the importance of that is knowing what's right for your body. So when we talk
Yeah.
about taking greens and stuff, I can't eat kale. For me,
Okay.
kale, the excess iron in kale gives me a migraine headache. Even though I need the iron, my body
Hmm.
does not process iron the same way. And so when we talk about that, we have to know our bodies, as you said, and be our greatest advocate for when we see something wrong, is to speak up, seek the knowledge. Just like when you sent that article to me, I'm going and looking through, reading and listening to what was being said, but understanding, who you are and talking to a professional for somebody to guide you. And that's why it's important for us to need coaches and mentors like you who understand, yes, you don't know everything and you're a constant learner, as I know you're in school now studying and going through that, but understanding what it is that we need as human, as women. A man's body is very different than a woman's body, and we understand that. And as we transition out of childbearing ages, and we need different things in our body, and what may work for one person, they're taking these different medications and it works for them, but for me it doesn't work. I have hypothyroid. I am
Hmm.
menopausal. I am now
Hmm.
pre-diabetic, which is something now I have to address because before I wasn't. But when you get older, your body processes sugar very differently. Your body
Yeah.
processes lactose very differently. So when we talk about these changes, and I am glad that you are now, when I said emphasizing that we have to look within ourselves to know what it is, and we have to not only produce the things that we're going to eat, and sometimes it's challenging to people to produce their own food and do
Oh,
that.
certainly.
So we have to start from the windowsill. So I simply said sometimes it's just growing something on the windowsill makes a difference.
It does. But
Simple start there. So I'm very encouraged when I see your posts and I see the messages that you send, because sometimes we need that sisterhood to say, hey, I'm checking in on you. When I was
Right.
going through the flu, when I was going through all those different things, it's the friends that check in on you because of that mind, body, and soul. How do you maintain that positive outlook that you constantly have?
It's a daily process. I do take a day. We're in different times now, so I have to honestly say, yeah, it's a day by day process for me. But I actually do meditate in the morning. I try to center myself. That's something I do, and it's a simple process. Some people choose meditation. Some people choose journaling, right? But it's a matter of just really
It's my
taking
journal.
time out, taking a few deep breaths, like 5 minutes in the morning, and kind of just centering myself before I put my feet on the ground out of bed before I do that, because once you do that, you're off and running. The other thing really is not to pick up your phone. That's something else I do. This consumption that we're talking about and the social media, I now have a time in which I am on social media and then when I'm not, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I think that's important. We're inundated with a lot of information, some of it not very good. Um, and we don't need to consume all of that all the time.
Absolutely. Do not disturb is my favorite thing
You know
nowadays.
what? You know what? And no,
Yes.
Do
let
not
me tell you,
disturb.
Robin, you just gave me permission to do one thing. And guess what? I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah.
Because here's what I just heard you say: the phone. And honestly, most of us, and I will admit it, as my husband says, I'm attached to my phone because you know why? You're helping. You feel like you can save the world. You feel like if you don't answer that phone, because my husband said it to me a million times, and I would get so frustrated and angry with him, but it's true. If they don't get to you, if you're out of it, God forbid you're sick or you just can't respond.
Right.
What do? Do they die? I mean, honestly, and if so, okay, you cannot save everyone. So what you have to do is put that mask on yourself first.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the phone. What I realize is
Exactly.
that you have to train people, and so what I have done, which is bad. Now I have to retrain because what I realized, Robin, is that, and Tammy will attest to it. If someone sends you an
Boundaries.
email or a text message at 8 a.m. and by
Yes.
by 8:05, if you don't respond,
Then.
you know you're getting another text message or email or whatever it is, right? Another phone call, and it's almost like the nerve of her not to respond to me. I
Yeah.
shot her a message 5 minutes ago, and let me tell you, God forbid it's 8:30 and they haven't heard from you. Forget it, And so what you have to do is back up and retrain everyone. And yes, you're all
So
listening, so I mean it. I am retraining everyone in my orbit right now because starting today, Robin, thank you. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to prioritize my life. I'm going to prioritize myself. And whatever it is that I have that I need to do, I get it done when I need to get it done because there are priorities. There are things that you must get done immediately.
Sure.
But you know what? If you don't have the health and strength to do it, then what?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
if you, in
Right.
Jamaica, we have a phrase, and Tammy's really familiar with this, and so is Patrick Parkins here, sitting going to laugh. Let me tell you, if your body popped down on you, if it broke down on you, if it break down on you, like a car, a vehicle, guess what? You're stuck.
Exactly.
You're stuck.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the phone, D&D. And so at nights, what I do, I literally, people
Yes.
ask me about it, I literally turn my phone off every single night. The bad habit I
Yes.
have is, and I'm confessing, is that if I wake up and go to that bathroom and I reach
Oh
for the
my
and I reach for the devil and the devil says Susan reached out or Patrick reached out and you just feel like, oh my God, let me respond because just in case.
Can't.
Don't do it.
You
Do not do it. And they can tell
Yes.
that you're doing it on WhatsApp and stuff like that. So
Well, you can turn
careful.
off alerts.
You can turn off. No,
You can turn off
but
on
I'm saying, but
Facebook.
that
No,
part.
you can turn off with them knowing that you read it or not read it.
That is
so
correct.
I'll give that. But out of office is very important.
It is.
And when I tell people that I'm out of office, my out of office doesn't mean that I'm out of work. Doesn't mean that I'm out of the state, out of the country. It means that I'm out of office.
That's
it
it.
means
You're
that I
not
have to
accessible
prioritize.
right now.
Exactly.
That's it.
I have to prioritize my health and my wellness. I'm a cancer survivor. So I've learned that stress causes me to go through some different things. Talking about pop down, I had the flu for 21 days.
Oh, yes.
And I had to go on steroids. And every
bad.
time I look at my face, because I had to go on steroids, I now have the moon face that I now have to detox my body from. So when we go through these transitions, but you have to get back to being able to move before you can go through the detox and everything else because your body is so depleted. So it's very important that we talk about do not disturb mentally,
Yes,
physically, emotionally.
And if I can add, so
course.
now we're getting into really talking about boundaries, right?
Ooh.
and how
Drinking my
we
water.
can look out for our health by setting boundaries. And it doesn't mean being mean to people. It's just that, back to what you were saying, you kind of teach people how to treat you,
You
right?
train them,
And when
yes.
you're available, and they can respect that once they know what that is. And it also allows you to focus more on your health and not always on everybody else's whatever's going on in their life, right? So
Right.
I think that that time is important.
It
Um,
sure is.
Take time to
and
water yourself.
yes, yes, and it's more important to be able to, as you say, water yourself. We want to change our lifestyle in small ways over time, because what what my goal is really is, let's not wait to go to the doctor. Let's work on our health before we get there, because by the time we get there, typically something's already wrong.
So very
So
true.
we're talking Right. So we're talking about wellness here and how little things you can do to keep you from, you know, getting high blood pressure, to keep you from, preventing, at least making preventive steps for diabetes, high blood pressure. And I mean, these are two very important, especially when we talk about Black women. These are two
Whew.
areas that are very important.
Yes.
Um, Stress, of course, is a part of that. But, and so those are the things we have to look out for and really watch our consumption on what brings those particular things like food and environment that make us unhealthy, right?
Absolutely. So,
Yes.
if there are five things that you could give us, or three things, let me start with three things. I think three is an easier dose to take, if you will. What are three things that we can do starting today to create a more mindful approach to our wellness? What are those three things that you think that we can work on?
Right. So I think really, like I mentioned, that one of the first things that I talked about was just that mindfulness of taking 5 minutes before you get out of bed, right? Just center yourself, do some deep breathing. Believe it or not, and I can go on forever about breathing, but we don't actually breathe like we're supposed to. Um,
Whew.
the When you think of yoga and you think of different exercise, one of the reasons why they're really good for us is because we're doing deep breathing, right?
Oh, yes.
As a part of our regular day, we're not even taking deep breaths. You'll notice, if you just pay attention to your breath, it's very short breaths. You're not filling your lungs up and then letting it release,
Right.
right? And you can do that. You can just focus on like 10 breaths in the morning. Inhale, hold it for 4 seconds or 4 counts, then exhale.
Yeah. So four counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that because you know what? I
Exactly.
was
Breathe
told
now.
that, yes. And I recently went to the ENT doctor before we even wrap up here, Robin, because we're getting ready to do what we don't like doing. End the session. I mean, I wish we could just continue with you,
But we'll have her
but
back
we've
soon.
got, yeah, we've, because honestly, we don't want to exhaust it, but breathing is critical. It's
It is.
critical. And
Yeah.
so continue with the number two and three, please.
Right. So the other thing is drinking water. We drink everything else, and a lot of stuff contains sugar. A lot of it contains caffeine, which is dehydrating. It kind of defeats the purpose, right? But we need to stay hydrated. One of the first things that when people say, "Oh, this and that, this is hurting me," or "I don't feel good," I'm like, "How much water are you consuming? How much water have you had today?"
Right.
Wow.
Right. So just water, and sometimes, and you'll notice on my site too, I have it. So there's different things you can put in water, right? Sometimes water's bland. I've gotten actually used to it, but I put fruit in my water too, or cucumbers, or lemons or blueberries, but no sugar,
No sugar.
No
right?
sugar.
Yeah,
And what's that
yeah.
third and final thing? And if you could just give us your website before you go,
Yes.
how can folks watching you, watching us here contact you or check you out?
Right, right. So I would start off by saying that you need to have and this requires a little more planning, but to have breakfast in the morning.
Most important meal of the
Okay.
Yeah,
day.
Yes.
yeah. It sets the tone for the day. It really does.
Got you.
Perfect.
So wrapping up.
How do we reach you?
How? Yeah. Let the folks know
Yeah.
real quick.
So I am, of course, on Instagram at Be Well with Robin W.
So Be Well with Robin W on Instagram and the
Yeah.
website.
And right now, what I have is a newsletter. So that is going out monthly. That is also located on my Instagram, but it's connect.rwi.bestlife.org.
And we'll tag that in when we actually go ahead and
Absolutely.
put everything together.
We love
Thank you so much, my friend, for being here. I can't wait to see you in person again.
Yeah.
And we always have such a great time. But thank you for taking the time today to be here with us, for giving us the wellness cues that we definitely need as we transition into spring and we come alive again. We want to thank you, and we hope to see you once again.
Absolutely.
Yes,
You-
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
my dear.
Thank you,
Have a good
Thelma.
one, Robin.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Talk
Take
to you
care.
soon.
All
Blessings,
right.
my
Take
sister.
care.
Bye-bye.
What an amazing time again.
Oh, man.
When I tell you that she is just a soul that continues to give and pours into people, it's just an amazing experience to have. But we wouldn't be here today without APAP Media. So,
Absolutely
we
not.
celebrate APAP Media. So once again, this episode is brought to you by our sponsors, APAP Media. APAP Media Group is a full-service creative video and photo production company specializing in podcasting, multi-camera recording, and live streaming. So contact them at www.apapmedia.com or by email at info@apapmedia.com. We are starting off and kicking off Wellness Journey Women's History again, and we have a absolutely fabulous and special guest in studio with us. Couldn't wait to have her in, Sharon.
Couldn't wait. I
Listen.
mean, I met her a few weeks ago, and let me tell you, I was just counting down the time for your coming in here. I mean, I was just waiting to meet you again.
You
And
just
I
wanted
mean,
some
I've
of the
shared-
wine. That's all it is.
You see that now? See, now she's just spilling the beans on me. That was a part of it too. But honestly, I mean, what I encountered a few weeks ago changed my life. I mean, there are people that, I mean, honestly, I had them contact, research, do everything. So there's some people that are going to be reaching out to you to get your services, Dr. Darlene. So I'm just going to go ahead and introduce Dr. Darlene. Met you through Tammy, but listen, you became my sister too. And Dr. Darlene Williams Roberts stands as a beacon all the way down there in Byron, Georgia. She is this excellent field of fitness advocacy and entrepreneurship and community leadership in Byron, Georgia. Because when I heard about Byron, first of all, Patrick,
Far.
let me tell you, I mapped it and I said to my husband, honey, we're going to be halfway to Florida. And he says, what? I says, well, 2 hours into Florida. That's how far it was. But let me tell you, it was worth every minute of getting to Byron, Georgia. And so I thought Macon was far. It's right there.
It's not
right
that
there
far.
next to. Yeah, well, girl, it's extremely. But let me tell you,
It was worth the
come-
drive.
Oh my God.
It was absolutely worth the drive.
February 15th changed my life. And so I just want to say thank you for that. Your spa, we didn't get a chance to get involved and get a little bit of that. But guess what? I told a lady today, and she can't make it tonight because of other obligations. But she's like, guess what? We're going to plan a girls' trip, a girls' retreat at Spatique.
Yes.
I mean, so she's got a spa. She's got a vineyard. And it was, tell us more, because, I mean, there is a story why you're running the vineyard now. I mean, how did that? I know your husband, it started out with him, but tell us more about how that got started and where you are today, and what are your plans for that?
So in 2006, I married my husband, not knowing that I was going to be marrying the vines indirectly. Yes, I said marrying the vines as well. But for about 10 years of our marriage, I may have been in the vineyard maybe 10 times. Yes. So my husband would be maintaining the vineyard, and I would come home because, like you said, I'm in health and wellness. And so I would come in, honey, I'm home, and go right in the house. And he would be out there cultivating the muscadines. But unfortunately, my husband got sick and he could no longer maintain our vineyard. So I was forced to at least try to learn. And so I'm just going to share. So my husband's, all that knowledge was locked inside of here. And I couldn't get it out. I would get bits and pieces. My husband had dementia. And so I was forced to try to learn what to do. And there were days when I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to take down all the poles, take down all the vines, and let the grass grow.
Wow.
And cut the grass. But that was not God's plan for me in the vineyard.
Absolutely.
So,
How do you transition and cope with that in itself? How is it that you heal yourself from that experience you just had? And that, what is it that God gave you in that moment as you're thinking about it? I saw you a while ago to still think through it. What was going through your mind at that time?
can I really do this? And so I had to keep telling myself, God doesn't put no more on us than we can bear. But sometimes that bearing can be
Overbearing.
Overbearing.
Yes.
Wow.
The weight.
Yes. And then I had to surround myself with some powerful women that helped me through that time. So that was just the part of him being ill, and I was a caregiver trying to run his businesses, the spa, the vineyard, taking care of him. It was a lot.
But I just knew that there's more to come because people are watching.
That part.
You don't never know who you inspire. So that's what keeps me going, because I have people that reach out all the time via email, direct messaging, on social media, saying, you don't know how you inspire me, or how you made my day with what you said. But sometimes the load gets heavy, and you have to have somebody in your corner also. You know, you have to be spiritual too, but even being spiritual, we need that physical
Absolutely.
person here to help us. So I had some women, and then, you know, my family, and then also, so June 2023, June 23rd, the 23rd, 2022, I was doing what my husband loved to do. I was out. He didn't only just cultivate muscadines. He had a garden as well. So I was in Conyers, Georgia, and I got the call that my husband was non-responsive. And in my mind, I'm saying, what? What do you mean non-responsive? I said, just wake him up. But he was gone.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
He was gone. So, and then this is where I'm at. I really was like, oh no, I'm just going to really just let it go. But again, God said, I gave it to you, and I'm going to help you get through it.
But you own it so much. When we met you, and it's just been almost a month, not even quite a month, when we met you on February 15th, and we came down, you radiate Robert's Vineyard. You are Robert's Vineyard. You have taken it on so much that we would never have known that somebody else before you had this vineyard, even though it was your husband.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you embody Robert's Vineyard. You show up. You're not only growing, these muscadimes, you're picking them, you're producing the wine, you're marketing it, you're selling it, you're doing everything. In Jamaica, we talk about women bearing this load and turn your hand, make fashion, that you constantly evolve. And even in the time since we've known you, and we'll talk about some other things that you and I are doing, but since the time that we've known you, just to see what you've been able to do, and you show up with grace as you are in studio today. Absolutely. With the grace and poise that you often do, with this smile that you constantly are smiling. I know you're a perfectionist, so I know that you, when you produce the products that you're producing, that you're doing it to the best of your ability, and you do not just put products out because you believe in what you're doing and the efficacy of what you're doing and changing lives. So when we talk about changing lives, people don't understand. As we've been talking to you, you've traveled to cities, to counties, to different states in the last 30 days, yes, promoting your wine, not just the wine, but what Robert's Vineyard stands for. So let's talk about a little bit behind the scenes that people don't know about Dr. Darlene. It's not just about the vineyards itself. There's so much more that you contribute to women in agriculture, women in spaces, in STEM, doing things like that. Tell us more about that passion, if you will.
So I have the opportunity to mentor young ladies from Fort Valley as well. I was on Fort Valley's first pilot for internship with the agriculture department. So I had young ladies to come out. I mentored them. I showed them how to operate zero turns, help me prune the vines. And like I said, my husband was also into his garden. And so I also do things with WIC, Women, Infant, and Children, and the seniors markets. So I go to different counties doing fruits and vegetables. So the young ladies came out there with me, and it's just amazing to be able to give back. And actually, this Wednesday, I'm meeting with another young lady that's in agriculture at Fort Valley. So one of my friends that used to come to the spa, she was a client, but she became a friend. She called me and she said, I have somebody that I need you to mentor. She said, this young lady is in agriculture, but she doesn't know if this is just for her. She said, but I told her, I got somebody that I need you to meet. Yes. So we're setting up on Wednesday where I can meet with her and just, give back. It's important that we give back. And, when you're in a space, like you said, you have to show up and own that space.
Absolutely.
Because you never know who you're going to have to inspire. So I enjoy giving back.
And she's inspired me. Mm-hmm. You really have, because I've been following you, on social media and keeping up with you as much as I can. And honestly, like I said, you've got some folks that are getting in touch with you in a few days. One was in your neighborhood, Warner Robin, somewhere down there. That's where she was born and raised, a young lady. And when I told her about it, she says, "What? Tell me the address." And she pulled it up. Google it. And she goes, "Oh my God, I can surprise my mom. We can go a girls' date and we can do a spa." And and she just went off. She was like in awe. And she says, "It's in our backyard." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, look at that. Look at God. So I love the fact that, this young lady, who I'm not going to say her name only because I want you to connect, because when you do so, there's another surprise waiting for you. And it's making, and I'll share a little bit with Tammy only because I want that surprise to be yours, because I know it's gonna warm your heart so much, and so it's something for you to look forward to. It's amazing. It's amazing because of her connection, and the connection. What you just said about mentorship, it's just hitting all the buttons, all those hot
absolutely
buttons, just hitting them.
Connecting.
Just keep on inspiring, because you've inspired me and you keep inspiring me, not giving up. Because honestly, how many people would have just thrown in the towel? Especially considering what you've been through.
Yes.
But you went through it so you could inspire and continue to help other folks who are going through it and are about to go through it, or have been through it and just didn't know. They fell apart and they're like, what if Dr. Darlene did it? Certainly.
I can do it.
How do you speak to someone who's probably been there and given up? Someone who's about to go through that, doesn't know that they are, but they're about to. Speak to that. How would you encourage those persons right there?
I say, don't give in, because you can win. Even though it's whatever it may look like. Sometimes we be right in the thick of things. And God, you're right on that breakthrough. Mm-hmm. But if you don't keep pushing through that barrier, it's like, if you don't, you're going to always say, I shoulda, coulda, or what would have happened. I'd rather take the chance on what's going to happen than not why it didn't happen because
Absolutely.
I didn't do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you talk about mothers and daughters coming. So we have something that we've been working on, and we're excited that Mother's Day, we're having a brushes and brunch.
Woo-hoo.
And so we will be together at Robert's Vineyard. We'll be painting, we'll be sampling the wine. And you know what? One of the things talk about wine and talking about her daughter. There's wine named after her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
There's wine. There's a Darlene wine as well. There's so many different things.
It's so personal.
It's
She makes
very
it
personal.
So personal. And guys, we're not talking about it because she's in here. But honestly, delicious.
Absolutely.
Delicious.
And you can tell the love is being poured into it. And that's one of the reasons why we decided to partner to do this upcoming event, because we wanted to show women love. We wanted women to come in for two different generations, and hopefully 3 generations come in together, because we met your mother, and I will happy belated birthday.
That's our mother.
Exactly. Happy belated birthday to your mom. Yes. I know she just celebrated her birthday. But also, having 3 generations there, because your daughter, yourself, and your mother, having you in a space that there's so many generations that can get some inspiration, motivation, and just feel love from being there. Yes. I think with us being in the vines and being the thick of things in May, so we'll be sharing that. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So we're working on a few things together. We'll also be together on April 26th.
Oh, yes.
Listen, we are going to be a busy group of people. On April 26th, we are doing something for a cause and breast cancer awareness and helping women be able to go for mammograms, helping women to get early detection. Yes. But this wine is a healing part of what will happen. And we are working with I Will Survive. It's going to be an art and jazz event that we will do at Lakewood. It's called the Alley Center, that we will be there together. But when we talk about collaboration, we talk about working together. It's important that when we meet people who show up and show out, that we constantly work with them.
And not only work with them, highlight them.
Highlight and celebrate them.
You drove all this way.
2 hours to be here.
To be here with us.
Yeah.
Do you know how much we appreciate that? Oh, wow. We appreciate you so much, because it's not that you live on this side of town and you can get in your car and you can be there, fight Atlanta traffic. You had to come all the way here. And then you got to go all the way back there. So we appreciate you. We applaud you. And look, this partnership has only just begun.
Only just begun.
This is your home, by the way. so you've officially, and now Patrick Parkins, APAP Media,
absolutely
is hearing this for the first time, but you've officially joined our family.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Thank
You've
you.
officially joined our family. So Mr. P is just going to go, you know what? Whatever you say. Let's just go with it. Because
we'll see how that goes.
And he's that sort of brother, because his wife is, look, she says, listen, hon, I'm doing this. And he goes, okay, no problem. What else? He's that kind of guy. So he knows once there's progress, he's all in. That's what APAP Media is about. That's why I'm here. This is home.
Absolutely.
We ain't going nowhere.
And this is home. And we will have our home there in Byron, Georgia, as well, as we do all these partnerships that we will come on. We will look to actually broadcast one day, coming down there when in spring, being able to showcase the vineyards. When you go and you see the vineyards, I got to get a sneak peek of the spa. You didn't, but I did.
It's all good. It's all good, because guess what? We're gonna be going there. We're doing the girls thing.
Yes.
That's what my girlfriend said. When I spoke to her, she says, are you kidding me? Send me the information. She's one of those. So she gets on while I'm talking to her. She goes, oh, good. I'm planning a date for a girls trip.
Absolutely.
Just like that.
And there's wine tasting. You can bring your husband down there. And listen, I'm the walking advertisement for her. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Because you can bring and have wine tasting there.
Yeah.
There's a date night on there. And I was like, let me find a husband so I can go on this date night.
I know. I know.
But girl, you can do the girls trip. Like, look, I got
absolutely.
a husband, but I'm going to do the girls trip as well.
The girls trips is very
We're gonna do
important.
both. Yes.
And I'm glad you're bringing up girls trip, because one of the things that I was doing again in Jamaica was the girls trip. And I was talking to Victoria about the wine and how could we do this in Jamaica? How could we have this kind of connection with the muscadine wine? Muscadine is not grown in Jamaica, of course. But at Mission Villa, being able to incorporate something like that to have this refreshment as we're going together and watering ourselves and bringing this together, it's how do we, again, talk about people. When we talk about that, we had the opportunity, I'm on the board for BASE, and we have Andy Morgan in the room today. But
hey, Andy. How are you?
We had to make sure that you were a part of this magazine for women's history as we celebrate people in life and stop waiting until people passed on.
Absolutely.
And anyway, it's good to give you your flowers. So when I had the opportunity to Dr. T, who was Andy Morgan's wife, when Dr. T reached out, I was like, I had the perfect person for this article to be there. Because as an educator, you're not just the culture in itself that you're continuing, the arts we're joining together, but BASE is so much more than just an organization where people show up and put art in. It's true culture, it's education, it's the longevity of who we are as a people and a culture.
Absolutely.
And you embody that.
And shattering ceilings too.
Yes.
Because, I mean, honestly, this is not a very, what would I say?
A rare commodity.
Totally rare commodity.
Yes.
Because it's not too many black vineyard owners that we have out there.
The percentage is a single digit.
That's my
Yes,
point. That's my point.
Single
So when
digit.
we see people like you, we celebrate you.
Mm-hmm.
And even coming hot off the heels, if I can just throw it in there. Yesterday, we were at the Capitol representing. So APAP was represented there because
Absolutely.
we had to show up and show out and tell them, listen, we're here to say, Queen of Her Majesty from Warri Island in Nigeria, she came all the way here to do business, okay? And the only reason we're not there having dinner with her right now,
Listen,
right? As
we're having dinner with the Queen right here.
But that's what I'm saying, is that we have our own local royalty right
Absolutely.
here. Because she came all this way, but guess what? You're 2 hours away, almost.
Yes.
And so this is what we're doing. So she came to forge that relationship business-wise. So guess what? That's what we're talking about. So Robert's Vineyard is going to be known not only in Jamaica, not only here in Atlanta, but there's Nigeria. There are other parts of the world. This is what we're doing. We're putting our people on center stage because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to get together, get back to basics. And this season that we're in as a people, as a country, is forcing us to get together, to say, hey, Andy.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Patrick. Tammy.
Yes. Here we
Guess
go.
what? Darlene, let us get together. We're getting back to our roots. That's what we're doing. Yeah. We're pulling all our resources together because we've got our resources. We've got our
everything
education.
that we need.
We have
That's
everything
it.
that we need. We don't have to go outside to get it. It's right here in front of us.
We
We
do.
just have to be there.
Yeah, and the thing is pulling together.
Yes.
Pulling together,
Collaborating.
collaboration. And you said the
Yes.
powerful thing is some people think collaboration is always money or financial, but it's the connections.
Yes.
When we collaborate, we reach more
Yes.
wide.
Exactly. We go farther together than we do alone.
Out wide
And-
and come in.
That's it. That's it.
Yes, so-
I love that
That's
word.
the
I love that
that's
word.
the important thing.
There's collaboration and there's competition, and I'm like, we don't
No.
compete around here at all. Around here, competing is a nasty word
Yeah.
Absolutely.
because it can be,
It's
we
an
can use
ugly
it.
word.
It's an ugly word.
It is.
And it's okay to compete, but when you
correct.
compete
Healthy
and it
competition.
becomes
ugly.
ugly,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
that's
So
not
that's
good.
it. No.
So
And
we're
that's why we
creating
do
a
it.
directory
Yes.
here at APAP Media.
Yes, we are.
As we talk about these collaborations, we're creating a network and a directory of companies here in Atlanta and abroad that have the same value system as APAP Media. Mr. P is a hardworking man and he shows up for us consistently. And we want to talk to people, brands, companies, organizations that have that same feel and desire to excel. Excellence is very important.
Right.
And I talk about you being a perfectionist, and it's a great thing. I told you that we connected where that was concerned because I saw how you handle business.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, that's a woman that I want to do business with. And the same thing, when it came to base, when we brought us together and they approached to be on the board, I said, that's an organization I want to run with. So when you have like-minded people, and we call this segment meeting of the mind, when you have like-minded people who are progressive, who are integrity is a big part of who they are, we want to make sure that we highlight them consistently and work with them and see how we can reach. You and I have 2 or 3 events coming up together. We don't even talk about the other events yet, but we have 2 or 3 events coming up just because of that one meeting. One meeting that we had. So when we talk about people working together and collaborating, it has to be the right fit, and understanding people's morals and understanding the efficacy of what they want to do. But you have to have the conversation. It starts with this conversation.
Absolutely.
It's not a round table today, but it's a round table that we have. And later on, we'll be having some conversation with some other people in business and women in businesses. So see, how can we cross-pollinate? How can we work together and do some different things? And how do we impact the next generation? I think that's the biggest part. Because there's not a... Exactly.
Mentoring. I mean, you said that. And I'm big on mentoring. Right. I mean, I've been a mentor since I was 17 years old, but I've been mentored all my life, though. Yeah. And I seek mentorship everywhere I go. I mean, that's what we have to do. We don't know it all. And the day that we do, we're no longer here.
And we're no longer needed.
No longer needed, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what it is. I don't know something about a particular area of an aspect of whatever it is. I'm going to seek information. I'm not too proud to say, hey, can you show me how? I don't know how.
Yeah. And one thing that I am very big on, because I said it and we were being funny, but I am a rare commodity. I am unique.
You are.
And so I'm in a industry that's predominantly males are in this industry.
It is.
Not just males, but white males.
Yes.
So, and when you say a perfectionist, I have to be better than the best.
Absolutely.
Because they're looking at me. They're looking
Constantly.
at me. Constantly. So, you know, I fought that battle as well. Like, I would show up at the farmers markets or at conferences, and they would be looking at me like, what she thinks she going? But it's not about, it's not about that. So I want women that look like me, young ladies, young girls, to know that, you know, you can do this. There is a place for us in this industry, in agriculture. So I really take things to heart, like you said. And sometimes being a perfectionist or wanting everything done right is good, but it can be bad.
Listen. But it's a positive affirmation
It is.
for me to look at you, because, again, when I saw you set up at Dillard's, when you did that wedding show at Dillard's, and that's when I said, we need to take this further than what we're doing collectively at the Vineyards. We need to show people here in Atlanta, in other spaces.
I so appreciate it.
And that's the thing, we'll go back to, you never know who's watching. I tell people all the time, is that I may not comment on what's going on, but I'm seeing what's being done, because when we collaborate together, I need to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to look right.
That's right.
And it's going to be the right thing and the right fit for people. So I truly appreciate, what we've developed. It's almost a friendship so far. We talk in the middle of the night, she'll be calling, and that is what it is. And it's important for us to have that support. And that support goes further than just business in itself. But you truly care. When I went away, you were calling me. Are you good? Everything good? Did you make it safely? And vice versa. So we need to check in with each other and make sure that we're good.
We do. We really do.
Yeah.
And as women, we need to do that more. Yes. Again, straightening that crown is what it's all about. I mean, you can't have me walking around with my hair sticking out and, whatever. I mean, look. Shift that crown. Hey, sister, slow down. I got you. Whatever. And with our brothers, too, because, I mean, we can't be effective for brothers, our husbands, our spouses, or the men out there in our lives if we're not taking care of ourselves. So we've got to make sure we represent. We're representing them. We're representing the family.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, every brother out there, every man out there wants a woman on his arm who's beautiful and this and that. But let me tell you something. When they want, essentially what they're looking for is a sister who can represent them.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
Yeah.
She can walk out there assertively, confidently, and represent them. It's not all about that little fairy tale. You've got to have all the fancy. No, they want a whole package. And let me tell you, as they would say, everyone's beautiful in their own way. That saying is so true. Absolutely. We are all God's great creation. And my sister, let me tell you, before we leave this podcast tonight, please share with the folks how to reach out to you, because what you got going on, I'm telling you, explosion will be your turning wheel. You're going to be like, what in the world happened?
Yes, ma'am. I want to say this before we end this podcast. So I was telling, I host a prayer call every morning. It's from 7 to about 7:30. Wow. But we're going to move it next month to 4 o'clock. I co-host it with Dr. Chief Silent Storm. But we're moving it to 4 o'clock because there's something about that 4 a.m. prayer that,
when you wake up.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was telling them that February was the forerunner for March manifestation.
Mm-hmm. We talked about it, yep.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I see that. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, folks, you don't know what you're missing if you're not in touch with this lady. Hang on, just hang on to her coattail.
I know.
Just hang on to her coattail, because I foresee explosion. I really see it, and whew.
Yeah,
I can't contain myself, like Tammy's saying. Mm-hmm. Tammy's getting as antsy as I am, because I see the excitement building up and about to explode in her. And let me tell you what I know from this lady, and what I also know from what I've shared, and the people's response.
Yeah.
It's a Bishop T.D. Jakes. Get ready. I
you
better
say,
be ready. But
ready.
You, I know you stay ready, because I've spoken to you after meeting you on the 15th. Mm-hmm. And you stay ready, Dr. Darlene. Don't ask me how. But then when I look at your mom, I see where God has blessed you, and I see where it comes from. Strong genes. As they say, we don't crack.
Yes.
So again, I'm just going to say, go ahead, share with the folks how to reach out to you, because you're going to be selling wine from every angle. You won't have hands enough to do what you got to do. You're going to be employing over here, the neighbors over there. You're going to the whole city of Byron. Oh, forget it. Who is that lady? Go check her out.
Who's that girl?
Who's that girl? There you go.
So tell them.
Now. Go ahead. How can they reach you?
So they can reach me at, oh my God, I just lost it. But anyways, you can reach me at info@yourspatique, or you can reach me at ddrvineyard.com. And then you can reach me on social media, Dr. Darlene Williams on Instagram and Facebook, and Robert's Vineyard on Facebook as well, and on Instagram.
So excited. Well, thank you again. We're so excited. Thank you for being here. We have some great things to come. We can't spill everything right now, but in the coming weeks, you all will hear more about what she is doing. So thank you again for taking this long journey to be here. So Speak harmony.
Speak harmony. We do. That's what we do here, Tammy.
Absolutely.
We speak harmony.
Yes.
We speak things into existence. Mm-hmm. We believe in doing that. We're not shy about it. So thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for who you are, what you do, and what you continue to do.
Thank you.
Your husband's looking up, looking down, and going,
proud.
Thought she couldn't do it. Okay? She was probably watching, but God is so faithful. And let me tell you what he has in store for you. Get ready. Tighten them seatbelts and get ready for it. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining Speak Harmony.
So as we talk about and we close out this session talking about the growth and what's about to come for APAP Media, for Robert's Vineyard, for Kay Alexander, for us together
Speak
as we
Harmony,
go.
yeah.
Speak Harmony is bringing people together on a whole different level.
A whole different level.
We just leveled up today. Having Dr. Darlene in studio with us, not
Robin
just
online.
on. Robin came in,
my gosh.
just what has happened today, we cannot change what's about to happen. But we would not be here today without APAP Media. So this episode is brought to you by our sponsor, APAP Media Group. APAP Media Group is a full-service creative video and photo production company specializing in podcasting, multi-camera recording, and live streaming. Contact them at www.apapmedia.com or by email at info@apapmedia.com. Thank you, Mr. P and APAP Media. One love. Speak harmony.
We appreciate you, Mr. P, all the time.
Meetings of the mind, where wisdom is shared. Tamara and Sharon, a duo prepared to light up the path, to bridge every gap. Access meets opportunity, there's no turning back. Forward with fortitude, the future's in sight. Together we rise like stars in the night. Authenticity reigns, love leads the way. We're speaking in harmony every single day. Speak harmony, let your voice intertwine. So let's move forward, ever bold and true. With Sharon and Tamara, the vision